First things first, James. How are you?
Good. I'm enjoying the sunshine in Amsterdam. I don't usually wear sunglasses, so I'm not trying to be cool. It's just actually a necessity. I'm a little jet lagged, but I think I managed to kind of get through it the other night. I played football late at night to kind of keep me up, and it kept me up, and then I slept through the night. So hopefully it doesn't come back and haunt me on tour.
And these types of trips, because as a musician, I assume you travel quite a lot. How does that affect your creativity and your musicianship?
I don't write on the road at all. I can't do it. My head, there may be some ideas that pop into my head, like lyrically and stuff, but never sitting down and writing a song or anything like that. There's so much else going on, and I'm tired, and concentrating on the gig. I'm more so just concentrating on the gig, and that's the main thing that's in my head. So I'd love to say that I could write on the road, because we'd be a lot more productive and it wouldn't take about 4 years to write another album, but no, I just kind of concentrate on that, and then when I'm at home, that's kind of when I get the most inspiration anyway. The music comes from everyday life, and I know definitely from your travels you will subconsciously gain like inspiration, but when I'm at home, it's got to be at home.
Is part of that being back in where you started, in a way, where you started writing, where you started that creativity, and being in that same environment is very...
Yeah, because all the songs are very personal, and they're about where I'm from and things that happened to me. Like being on tour, it's like it's very much the same thing happens every day. You're just in a different city, so it's everyday life. I find inspires my writing more than the get up, drive, sound check, play, drink, get up. Like, I find it more like being at home and being able to observe and like watch everything and just walk about and see everyday life. And because touring is not everyday life, it's such a strange existence, you know. But I think being at home and just being and hearing stories from people back home, like just what's happening in their lives, and that inspires me more than anything.
With that in mind then, and then I want to jump into the new album kind of immediately then, but what life was to be had in the years leading up to? What did you experience in the last couple of years that kind of fed this album?
It's like with my lyrics, I never truly explain what they're about. I kind of leave it to the listener's imagination. But with this one, I think it's a lot more. I've been a lot more direct, to say that. And the title of the record, is called "It Won't Be Like This All the Time," and that can be taken as a positive or a negative. For example, it won't be like this all the time. You've got to, if you're in a moment, you've got to try and savour that, a really like a good place in your life, or a good time, or a good day, and you've just got to remember it won't be like this all the time. Try and cherish this. Whereas the opposite, where if you're going through a really bad time in your life, you can tell yourself to try and get through it, and it won't be like this all the time. Tomorrow could be a better day. And with the record, within the kind of 2 years of writing it, I kind of went through the highest of highs in my life, and then really the kind of lowest of lows. So I think the record kind of reflects that, whereas it's pretty dark at points, but I think there's a bit of hope in there. I think there's a lot of hope in there, actually. But then I follow up with a lot of darkness again. So it was probably the most testing 2 years of my life. We didn't play any gigs. We were pretty much, we finished a massive tour, which was probably the best and biggest thing that's ever happened in our lives. And to come back home and then come back to normality again, and certain things in my personal life happened, and to me and to my family, and then I, like the high things, like I got married and I had a son. they're like the peaks in life, I think, for me anyway. It's things I've always wanted in my life, and to have them were amazing. But on the other side of that, I experienced great loss and some really kind of horrible things happened. So I like to think that the record itself kind of reflects that, I think.
That balance.
Yeah, the balance. I mean, because it's everybody goes through that. That's just everybody's life is. Not everybody's life is just going to be, hey, great, this is brilliant. You have to. The thing is, as well, you have to go through the low moments in your life to truly be happy, I think, as well, and to really fully appreciate when those beautiful things happen in your life. It's we went when we were on tour in America. There, we went on a tour of Pixar, the Pixar studios, and like the guy that was touring, giving us the tour, spoke about Inside Out, the film Inside Out, and how that you need sadness to have joy, you know. So, and I was just like, shit. That's our new album. Our new album's a Pixar movie. Not quite, but it's the if Pixar did Trainspotting.
Nice mix in.
I don't think that's going to happen. I'd like to give it a go, but that when he said that, it just made it really kind of went. I've seen that film and I love that film Inside Out. I think it's a really clever film, but I didn't really until he said those words. I was like, ah, fuck. Yep.
It's funny that you. On the way here, I was listening to. George Harrison's "All Things Must Pass," which is very, very similar.
I don't think it's anything new. That I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel, but it's just my version of it. You know, like.
And then it was these 2 years that everything kind of came to a head.
Yeah, I've went through like with previous albums. Every album's a documentation of where I am in my life at that point. This record especially just seemed to just really everything was thrown at me at once. It felt, I suppose I'm at that time in my life as well though, like 30, I think I'm 33. I'm either 33 or 34, I can't remember. And at this time in your life, like, people are getting older and life catches up with you, and I think life... That was me to stop. I think this point in my life, anybody's life when they turn this age, you start to think about life and death and all that kind of stuff, and so both things kind of slap you around the face at times, you know. So it's it's the most. I think it's the most frank I've been on an album, I think.
How important in those moments is it then that you have music, that you have that outlet in a way?
There's some horses. We have
a nice background.
This is like the most, like, this will be the most entertaining interview I've ever done because of not because of what I'm saying.
So much stuff.
I know, it's brilliant. For me, it's really important. I'll answer this question in a minute. See you later. I don't have another outlet for things. I've said it a lot in the past. I use music as a therapy, whereas I can speak about things that I wouldn't usually be able to talk about. I mean, some people have a psychiatrist and stuff, or a counsellor and stuff, and possibly I should as well. But this is my way of release, if you know what I mean. It's maybe a very weird way of doing it, getting up and standing out in front of a bunch of strangers every night and kind of giving everything, but it seems to work for me, you know. I'm very lucky that I have a lot of very supportive people in my life, and they support what I do. So with them and with music, I think I'd be pretty lost without it, to be honest.
And if we go back into the beginning a little bit, when did you discover that music could have this effect on you?
See, it was weird. I played Andy and I, our guitarist, that played in bands when we were in high school. together, just kind of covers bands, and then we started to say, right, we need to start writing our own songs. And that was when we were about 16, and I didn't know what to write about. I didn't write, so he started writing, and there was other people in the band that were writing some of the songs. And then when I became 18, around about 18 to 21, some things happened in my life that I was like, I need to talk about this. And I wrote some songs and gave them to, I got Andy round to my house. He wrote the music, and I wrote some words over it and melodies over it. And I was like, how's this? Probably one of the most nerve-wracking things I've ever done, to truly, for the first time, open up in front of one of your best friends and hope that it's not going to be shit. And he was like, yep, that's it, you've got it, here we go. And I was like, that was it. But something needed to happen. It wasn't just like, it wasn't like, we need some songs, you need to write some lyrics. It's never been about that for me. I don't just write songs because I have, because a record label says, we need an album from you, and it's like, nah, that's not how this works. I've got to go and have something to write about for me to actually do it. I suppose that explains the whole kind of therapy way of it, you know.
It's almost the other way around. You're not writing for a certain goal, but
it's writing for. We were in a really purely selfish way. It's about writing for myself. Right. It's the same with Andy with the music and the rest of the band. We're doing it for ourselves to begin with, and then if other people like it, then brilliant. Yeah, of course we really want people to like it, but we've got to be happy within ourselves to begin with. And it's nice to see that people have came with us over the 5 records now. Well, they've not heard the new one, so maybe they'll be like, nah, that's it. It's nice to see that they've went on that kind of journey with us, and that they can understand why we're doing it, and it seems important.
But that's an interesting point, because you mentioned being more direct on this album in particular. Opening up, like you say, you've written songs like these before, but opening up and kind of literally, in a way, people can read and hear what you've experienced. What is that like?
Well, in the past I've kind of used a lot of metaphors in my lyrics, and this time I've been more direct, so it's actually quite scary, to be honest. My family haven't actually heard the record yet, and that's quite worrying to me, to be honest. I know they'll appreciate it and like it and stuff, but there's some words in there that are not nice, and not being nice about myself, to be honest. And I think everybody knows that I have the tendency to feel that way, but I think they'll be glad that I can say it instead of something else, you know. And it's pretty scary, to be honest. I'm apprehensive about a lot of it, but again, I think that if people can see the hope in it, you know. Like, in a way, hopefully they see that by doing this, it's got me through it.
Well, can you give me an example of a song then that while creating this album you had your reservations about of putting it on, maybe, or?
There's, all of them. I'd say the first song we released from the album, I'm Not Here, kind of missing, it's brackets, missing face. Like the thing, the main kind of, I don't even know what's the chorus in that song, there's that many sections that are thinking, but just that I don't want to be around you anymore. And I'm just talking to myself, really, to be honest. And then thinking that, does anybody else want to be around me? And that's not really a nice thing to think about, like your son or your husband or anything. People, like, for them to know that you're thinking that, you know. But I'd like to think everybody kind of maybe goes through that, and it's not just me. So that was a line that stood out to me, of being like, right, I need to say this to myself. Not again to myself, not to anybody else, but now I'm saying it to everybody. And then let me think.
Well, for that particular song, I wrote down the last line of the song, which is "Why do you do this?" Or
Yeah, I thought that was like that. I was actually in the car driving when I wrote that line. Well, I didn't even write that line. I was saying that to myself, and then the music that Andy'd written was I was playing it in my car, and I don't know, I can't totally recall why I was thinking that, but I was just I was having a pretty bad day, and then I was just like beating myself up about something, and I think I think that's could be quite a universal thing that everybody says. Everybody will say that to themselves at some point, and I felt I was quite proud of that when it came out. I was like, that came from a place that I was genuinely saying that to myself, you know.
But the interesting thing to me as well about a song like that is now that it's out and people have heard it, have you had certain? Is the reaction to songs like these different than other songs?
I think we're very lucky to have very kind of passionate people that like our music. The reaction to that song was, I think, maybe it's just because it's so fresh in my memory, was probably the biggest reaction to a song we've ever had. We were kind of blown away by the reaction. And now we've started playing it live. The reaction from when we're playing it live is just like when we were playing it, it was getting like the bigger kind of shouts and applauded more than some of the old songs. Do you know when you do something you think when you hear it back and you're like, do you know what? Yeah, that's us at this present moment. And if people understand it, then great. If they don't understand us at the moment. But the reaction was just, there was people that were just going, this is probably one of the best things you've done. And I think it's just because it comes from a really honest place, and that it's like those lines that you said, everybody can relate to those things. And musically, I think it's one of the most progressive things we've ever done as well. I think it captured all elements of the band whilst pushing us forward at the same time.
Was there a particular reason for that pushing yourselves musically?
Yeah, I think when you've done 4 albums, like you've got so much things that you don't want to repeat, if you know what I mean. You've got to kind of stay true to yourself, but at the same time, like I was saying, there'd be no point in us doing this anymore if we weren't pushing ourselves to try new things and I don't know, develop, you know. But it's all got to come naturally. It can't be like feel forced. And I've never, as soon as anything's felt forced to us, we're just like, nah, scrap that. That's not it. It's got to come from a really natural place. And there was a real feeling within the 4 of us that were in the band now that we scrapped quite a lot of things, to be honest. Like Andy actually at one point when we were writing scrapped all the music, only kept my vocals and just rewrote stuff.
Why?
He said he was like, nah, it's not good enough. He's like, he was like, we could have made it. He was like, it could have been a perfectly good album, but not for me. And this is not good enough for who we should be, who we are at the moment. Which is pretty bold, to be honest. He didn't actually tell me that. Like I'd written, because some of the songs are written kind of. He'll send me some guitar parts and then I'll put the vocals on top of it, and then he'll layer it up. He'd layered it up without sending it to me, then scrapped it, and then sent over what he'd done again. So I was like, thank fuck he never sent me that, because I was like, what if I really liked that? But I'm glad he did it. That just showed you how committed he is. And we also had somebody after being on tour with The Cure for like 6 months of our lives, saw what a true perfectionist and artist was in Robert, and seeing how dedicated he was to what he was doing and his music, and it was like, no, that was inspiring, to be honest, to be like, no, we have to make sure that this is the best the best version of us possible, and there's no Yeah, okay, that'll do, that'll do. There was no that'll do's on this record.
It raises the stakes when you see somebody on that level.
Yeah, totally. It just opens your eyes, and you're just like your vision becomes. It feels like from looking in there, you just go, whoa, okay, and I don't know, like things are more. We've got a lot. We've got. I think it showed us what the possibilities of our music could be. I don't even know if that was a proper sentence, but we'll go with it.
Sounded good to me.
Yeah, I think you can make sense of it, my own wee language. But from playing on those stages every night, and the confidence from somebody like Robert Smith going, no, what you're doing is you should be playing on these stages. I want you on these stages. Gives you a confidence, but also a self-motivation of going, right, if he believes in us, we've got to believe in ourselves a little bit more, and also, again, not settle. Not that we've ever really settled, but just that experience changes your outlook as well. Like, I think there's one or two ways you could go with that. You could see, playing in front of a big audience, I want to cater to that big audience now, and that's not what we took away from that, to be honest. I think we just got a little bit more confidence in ourselves, going, no, what we're doing is actually all right.
This might be a very difficult question then to answer, because well, obviously your motivation isn't money or fame or anything.
You wouldn't think that with a guy sitting with sunglasses.
but what I find interesting then is you mentioned the drive and why you write songs, but is there ambition involved as well?
I think to begin with, like when the first record and things like that, the only ambition was to do as we spoke about, but also then when you start playing gigs, you're like, the ambition was to get out there and play in front of people. When we first started, I said I still believe this as well, that it doesn't matter how big the room is. If there's a packed room, or even half, like if there's dedicated people who want to listen to our music, we will go and we'll try and play there. You know, like obviously financially that's pretty hard with getting around the world and all that, but it was like I always felt if we were going somewhere, travelling and playing in a different city, and there was a room excited for us to be there, that was a real motivation for me. And again, it didn't matter how big it was, but as you play those bigger rooms and you see the possibilities of interacting with a room that size, it comes a little bit addictive in a way. Like, you're like, as I said, I was saying to you like earlier on that our favourite room venues, the Barrowlands, and there was talk of us playing a bigger venue in Glasgow, and we kind of said no, because it's like, no, that room is so special, and you can connect with people inside of there, and that's what's important. And I never thought our band would ever get to that, to be able to do half of the things that we've been able to do, play the rooms that we've been able to play. Like when we come back to Amsterdam, it's like a 550 capacity venue, and that's looking like it's going to sell out. And that to me is mind blowing. I never thought in my wildest dreams that would be possible. As I die from a wasp. Go away. I think for me, as you go on and you play these, you keep playing, and through the albums, seeing the possibilities and seeing that you can play those rooms, you just want to push it and see how far it can go, to be honest. It's not about going, we need to play this venue because then we'll make some money. It's like, if we could fill a room full of people, like passionate fans that were like in that 100 capacity venue, and that those people were in there, what a feeling that would be. You know, like it's about the feeling in the moment of being in it. So I never thought that we would get to this point. So anything from this point is pretty mind-blowing. That as I say, that Cure tour we came off, and I got home, I just sat in my front room and I was like, what the fuck just happened? how is that even possible? But we did it, and it's about getting out there and doing it.
And like you say, is it then difficult after something like that to adjust to being just home again?
Yeah, we pun on the album title here, is that on that tour we kept on telling ourselves, don't get used to this. It won't be like this all the time. And we're like, aye, pinching yourself going, right, remember, you're going to be in the back of a van for 6 hours travelling. You're going to be in shitty hotel rooms again. So don't enjoy this while it lasts. And it's not different because it's what we're so used to. That was so different for us. So coming back to our normality was quite nice in a way. I don't know, it was so weird that having a tour bus and like things like that we're not used to that. And it was amazing, it was lovely.
Well, I want to get back to Robert Smith very quickly, because you mentioned kind of watching them and then see that being inspiring. Did you talk with him? Did he talk to you guys about the music industry and
Yeah.
artistry?
Yeah, totally. We would.
Can you share one tip or maybe one piece of advice that he gave you?
He's given us so much, this thing, like he's helped so much on this record as well. We sent him our demos as we were going and he would come back and he would rate them for us, like, this is an 8 out of 10, could be a 9, things like that. To have that, like, to be able to send that email and go, what do you think, to me, to one of the best songwriters of all time, and to get critiqued, like, not critiqued, he was just doing it, because he says, I'm a fan of your band. And this, like, he was like, he said it was an honour to be able to be in that position to see how the songs start and stuff. So the advice, he never really gave us advice. He just kind of kept on going. He just kept on trying to do it. Like, say, right, you're going to play here. I'm going to do this. Like, say for example, when we were playing around and we were playing in America and there was like on stage there's 2 big screens so everybody can see, and when we were playing they weren't on, but when the Cure's on they've got like full cameras and stuff, and he's like, what I want on those screens is your name, so people walk in and instantly they see your name, because I want them to know about you. I want them leaving this venue going, what was that name on that big thing? He basically just came over and just asked us about our music. He never said, oh, you should do this, you should do that. He just kind of was intrigued by how we did it, how we performed and how we write songs and how we record and what equipment we're using. It was literally just like friends going, oh, this is how we do this, this is how we do this. And then we're like, how did you do that? But he was, most of the time, to be honest, we just had a really good laugh with him. Like, he would text us saying, right, are we getting steaming tonight? And it's just like, yeah. And we would just talk. Like, it's so strange to like be instantly comfortable in somebody who is one of your heroes, like, presence, like, and we would just have a laugh. It's like, I thought I'd be a quivering, shaking mess around him, but he made us feel so welcome and was just wanted to hang out like any other guy would. And why wouldn't he be just like any other guy, you know?
He's
like,
just another person.
Yeah, it was a mind-blowing experience. And we'd come off stage and he'd be side stage watching us mostly every night. He asked for the set list every night, so that if there was a song that we hadn't played yet or weren't, he would make sure that he got out to see that song, because he's so busy. He's got a 3-hour gig to play. Like, not even I can watch the support band when we play like smaller venues, just because it's hard, like, to try and get yourself up for going and playing a gig. So to walk off and like there's like 1 minute you're like, oh fuck, that was a lot of people. Shit. Oh, there's Robert Smith. Oh fuck. Okay.
Final question, and this ties in with what you just now said. when you're on stage, then is it a very conscious experience, or is it more of letting go in a way?
Somebody asked me this, like a friend actually. Well, not a friend. Not a friend. I'm like, do I have friends? They said to me, "You're a completely different person now talking to me than you are up there." And they're like, "Do you know what you do up there?" And I'm like, I know it. When I look back at it, I feel quite paranoid about it and a bit anxious, just because it's like that's not me in everyday life. Something seems to kind of, without sounding like a fucking wanker or anything like that, something kind of takes over. And just my body just gets looking really tense, and like as I'm singing the songs, I'm thinking about why I'm singing them, and the passion stroke aggression sometimes. I just kind of get lost in a wee moment now for an hour and a half. It's definitely strange looking back at that. I do come off. I come off. I don't ever really come off stage and go, "Yes, what a gig! That was, oh wow." I'm quite anxious and paranoid about just, fuck, did I look like a complete fucking weirdo up there? Like performance-wise, always kind of, I'm never happy with the way I sing. I mean, very rarely anyway. I always ask other people, how was it? And that's something I think I really kind of need to start dealing with, is that to just be content within myself. So,
because I imagine the feedback you get from the crowd must be nice.
It's nice after a song when people cheer and stuff, and they're not like, what the fuck is that? Yeah, no, that does encourage me and stuff. I'm just one of these guys that there could be, say when we play Amsterdam, there's 550 people there, and I'm worried about if 2 people don't like it, even though the rest of the people like it. And I don't know why that is, and it's stupid, because you cannot please everybody all the time. But I always look on the, I'm a glass half empty instead of a glass half full. Usually the glass is empty by the end of the night, but it's really something I'm trying to push myself to not concentrating on, like, looking for the negatives. And I don't know why I do that. Why do you do that? So I think on this tour, I'm still learning, even after 12 years, to try and better myself again. Like, I feel like I'm getting better as a singer, even though I said I'm never really happy, but I know that I'm improving. But it's about constant, and every aspect of being in this band, I'm looking to better it, you know, like the music and like the album, try and take that step on. I'm trying to figure out some things with myself within this to make it a more enjoyable experience and not have me in a quivering, cowering mess in the corner.
On that note,
yeah, hey.
James, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much. That was funny, that.